And we're live on It's Not Rocket Science, 5 questions over coffee. I will admit it's not coffee I've got in front of me at the moment. This is a cup of green tea, but that's because I'm trying to decaf my body a little bit. And welcome everyone to It's Not Rocket Science, 5 questions over coffee. I'm here today with Dr. Sarah E. Brown. She's a former managing director at Accenture, and she's worked extensively on scalable talent management systems. A best-selling author of books, Let Your Personality Be Your Career Guide, and The Road to Success, which you have co-authored with Jack Canfield. So that must have been absolutely a wonderful experience working on that with, he's the author of The Chicken Soup for the Soul. And that's a really great experience, I would imagine, Sarah. So really welcome to this afternoon's It's Not Rocket Science, 5 questions over coffee. I'm really looking forward to this discussion. Hope you get a lot out of it. So, Sarah, do you want to kick us off by just explaining to us your ideal client and the challenges they face?
My ideal client is the most senior female executive in a company. And the reason she's my ideal client is because she is usually the only female in her position. She is what we call an only or a lonely, because she has few female peers.
And she's probably not the chief executive, which is the great shame of much of this.
Usually.
Which is a great shame. Mm-hmm. Okay, so we've got the ideal client, and we now understand that. Can you just give us what's the common mistake people make trying to solve the problem of being a lonely in that position?
Well, the real problem that I'm addressing for her is the fact that she really wants to get more females into leadership roles. She wants to get more females into the leadership pipeline. And the mistake that she's making is trying to do it all herself. Mm-hmm. And she's feeling guilty, and she's feeling also overwhelmed at the magnitude of the task, because all of the women in her organization are looking up to her for help, for advice, and for pulling them through. And she's actually struggling just to get her job done herself.
Yeah. And I buy in 100% to what you're saying, because I watched it with my wife, who had a great female mentor in her organization to help her get to where she is. And she recognized that she was looking to someone for help who, quite frankly, probably didn't have the time to help her in the way that she really needed. And it just didn't help either of them. Mm-hmm. And that's great. So tell us, what is the valuable free action or free resource that you think you can point the audience to in order to sort of help solve that problem?
Well, what I want to do is to tell this woman that she doesn't have to do it herself. And so the valuable tip that I want to give her is go engage your team in this process and explain to them you've got limited bandwidth, but get them engaged in the process of actually coaching themselves. And you can start that by helping your team members to get really laser clear about what goals it is they want to achieve in their career.
Brilliant. Love it. How do we go about accessing that sort of advice?
Well, one of the keys to doing this is coming up with goals that are unique to the individual. So I'm going to offer as a free gift at saraebrown.com a chapter of my book that you referenced before, Let Your Personality Be Your Career Guide. And in that chapter, I have some exercises on how women can get very clear about who they are, their unique interests, strengths, and needs, and then how they can translate that into career goals that are equally unique for them. And you as a leader in the organization can use this to actually begin to engage your team in thinking about what is important to them and use that as the mechanism to actually begin to mentor them. But you don't have to then spend the time getting clear about what it is they want to achieve up front.
Yeah, absolutely. Get other people to do the thinking. It saves you an awful lot of effort and time, doesn't it? Mm-hmm. I've got a feeling that's something that many male leaders could actually try and do occasionally as well, but that's another story, I suspect. So what's the concept book or program that has been most influential and impactful in your experience?
Well, you mentioned at the beginning of this in my bio that I had done some work with Jack Canfield. And so I'm going to suggest that the program that has been a big influence in my life has been his success principles concept. And I've actually taken a lot of the tools from that process and embodied it in my own process around how we can take responsibility for what it is we want to achieve and then hand tools to other individuals to help us get there.
What a great set of principles to embed in your work. Absolutely brilliant. That must make your life a lot easier to take principles like that and make it part of your work.
Well, it's based on 50 years of research on his part, and they're all time-tested principles, so I know they work.
Yeah, absolutely right. That's brilliant. So what's the one question that I should have asked you in the last few minutes, which I haven't? And before you answer, can you make sure that you also give us the answer to that, or rather than leaving us with a puzzled look, thinking that was a great question, I wish I knew the answer?
The question is, what is self-coaching? And the reason I think that is a good question is because I believe it is the answer to my target ideal client's dilemma, is how does she mentor and bring along the women in her organization when she herself has limited bandwidth? And the answer to self-coaching is this. If we empower women with a process and the tools that they can use with another human being to actually get clarity on the goals that are important to them, the right actions they can take, how to overcome obstacles, and how to put the support mechanisms in place to actually begin pursuing that, we can free up the women in the most senior parts of the organization to be mentors, to answer those specific questions around how do you address this particular challenge. And all of the other work, the thinking about what's important to me, how do I get clear about that, all the things that we historically call coaching can be done by the women as peers to themselves.
Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. I absolutely love the answer. I wish I'd thought of the question. That's a really great answer. Thank you very much, Sarah. Really appreciate your time this afternoon. Can you just give us again the name of that website where we can go and get that resource? Because I think that's something that people would be really interested in.
SarahEBrown.com.
And that's Sarah, S-A-R-A-H, Brown, B-R-O-N, no E's or nothing.
No, actually, Sarah, there's an E for my middle initial, Sarah
Yes.
E. Brown, and brown like the color.
Yeah, no problem. Just didn't want somebody to put Sarah E. Brown and put the E on the end, or
Correct.
miss off the H off the Sarah, because they make a difference, these letters.
That's true.
Brilliant. I love what you've done. I really thoroughly enjoyed the conversation, Sarah. Thank you so much for spending some time with us. I really wish you all the success with that chapter. People, if you haven't gone and got already to Sarah's website, you should be on it already. You should be downloading that copy. If you'd like to keep up with what we're doing here at the Complete Approach and you want a notification of when we do these so that you can join in and watch live, go to tca.fyi/subscribe. That's tca.fyi/subscribe. And if you'd like to be a guest on the podcast, go to link.thecompleteapproach.co.uk/be a guest, BEA guest. Sarah, thank you so much for spending some time with us this afternoon. Really appreciate it. I wish you all the success with that chapter. I look forward to catching up again soon.
Thank you very much. It was a pleasure.
No problem.